Hey, how's it going? Expat Stacker coming to you with a discussion topic video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the top 10 reasons why I don't stack constitutional, aka junk, silver. So, first, let me just say, just hear me out, okay? Because I know a lot of you guys are going to have a strong reaction to that right off the top, all right? But just hear me out. Just listen to my 10 reasons. And after you do, if you disagree with me, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section and, tell me your thoughts. But I just ask that you keep it respectful and constructive, okay? Not gonna really pay you any mind if you just say that I'm an idiot and, I don't know anything or whatever. We're all stacking with our own unique purpose, and there may be some similarities between us, but also a lot of differences, personal circumstances and all these different types of things. So my main purpose for stacking is based on, it's basically a form of savings for me. And so I have a long-term holding strategy. And I think that precious metals, for the most part, are a hedge against inflation, so that when I save money, instead of putting it in the bank and letting inflation just eat away at the value of my money, over the long term, at least my money won't lose value when I convert it from, fiat currency into precious metals. So that way, when I retire, all my hard-earned, money that I worked for won't have deteriorated over time. So it's basically a retirement savings pretty much for me. But we all have our different reasons and for stacking, and everybody has their own different circumstances and abilities. So some people flip coins, some people are just more along the collectors or whatever. Everybody's different. So I'm just saying my opinion. So if you love constitutional silver, then good for you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't. And, I'm going to give you my reasons why. And part of the reason I'm doing this is not because I want to play devil's advocate or because, I just want to be contrarian or anything like that. This is genuine. And I think it's important for unique voices to be heard. So this way, people can hear a different perspective. Like I said, this is just my own perspective. I'm not telling you what to do. So, once you get this different information, you can make the best choice for you based on your personal circumstances. Well, I'm not telling you what to do at all, just giving some perspective and some thoughts. So I'm just communicating about myself. So just hear me out and leave your thoughts in the comment section below at the end of the video, all right? So first of all, the number one reason that I do not stack constitutional, aka junk silver, is because of the price at which I would get back when I liquidate it. So when you liquidate your precious metals, sometimes you can get back a premium, or sometimes, just in case you don't know what a premium is, it's like a little bit extra over what the spot price is. Or you can get spot, or sometimes you'll get under spot. So, but with constitutional silver, you don't even get spot. You only get melt value. Okay. So, and just in case the difference between spot and melt is not clear for you, basically the melt value is the value of a coin or bar, any piece of bullion, the content of precious metal within that. So the melt value is just calculated by the amount of the precious metal that's in a piece of bullion multiplied by the spot price of the metal. So for example, if I had a gold coin that had a full ounce of gold and the spot price is, 1,500, then that coin is worth 1,500. However, if let's just say it was 90% gold and the spot price was 1,000, then I would only get 900 for that. So that's the difference between melt value and spot price. So most junk silver is 90%. So you're only going to get 90% of spot. That's basically what it is. And if you look at the silver price for over the past 10 years, it's fluctuated somewhere between about $15 an ounce to $20 an ounce. There's been a little bit above that and a little bit below that, but we'll just say that that's kind of the range over the past 10 years. And I'm not getting into, numismatic value, which is like collector value or like the rarity of the coins or anything. I'm just talking basically about the spot price and little premiums. So, but typically for, premium government minted bullion, you're going to get like, I'm talking like American Silver Eagles and stuff like that. You're going to get anywhere between $1 to $2 over spot per ounce from, like coin dealers and bullion dealers and individuals and stuff. That's generally like kind of the going rate. So $1 to $2 over spot, right? So if spot is $15, then you're going to get $16, maybe even $17, right? So based on the past 10 years prices per ounce of silver, that's a 5% to 13% profit premium when you sell. With generic rounds, non-government minted like rounds and stuff, something maybe made by like AppMex or something, I don't know, or like Sunshine minting rounds or something like that. I mean, depending on what it is, if it's non-government minted bullion, sometimes they still do carry a premium, but generally speaking, with generic, when you liquidate, depending on what it is, you'll get either spot price or maybe $1 or 90 cents under spot. So with that, you usually either break even or get no premium, or you take a small loss between 4.5% to 6.5% based on the prices over the past 10 years. But with junk silver, it's 90%. So that means you're getting 10% knocked off the spot price when you sell, because you're getting the melt value. So 10% of $15 to $20 an ounce is $1.50 or $2 per ounce. So let's say you and I, we both walk into a coin shop, and I have an American Silver Eagle, and I'm gonna sell it, and you have $1.40, in face value of junk silver, 1 ounce of junk silver, and we're both here to sell. And let's say the spot price that day is $17 an ounce, and I get a $2 premium. That means I'm walking out of there with $19, and you're gonna walk out of there with $15.30. So that means I'm $3.70 richer than you are. You might say that's not a big deal, but ask yourself if you would want to buy some silver tomorrow if the spot price dropped by $3.70. So you can see it is kind of a big deal. And, in this example, I'm just comparing only the sale of 1 ounce. But how many of you guys actually only stack 1 ounce and sell only 1 ounce at a time? My guess is not very many of you. Right? With silver, you need to stack a lot of ounces to make it worth your while. So let's say, same scenario, same everything, but this time I'm selling 10 ounces of American Silver Eagles, and you're selling 10 ounces of junk silver. Then I'd have $37 more than you. Or what if we both sold 100 ounces? Then I'd have $370 more than you would. What if I wanted to sell a whole monster box of American Silver Eagles, and you had the equivalent, 500 ounces in junk? I'd have over $1,000 more than you at that point. What about 1,000 ounces? Then I have $3,700. And these are not really outlandish examples. Like I said, you need to stack a lot of silver to make it worth your while. So, when you decide to liquidate, you're probably not going to be liquidating just a tiny little amount. It's going to be probably a sizable sum. Well, when I say you, I'm kind of talking about myself in the future, because like I said, I'm buying, holding for a long time, and then gonna liquidate later. So I'm not probably not going to liquidate just a tiny little amount at a time. It's probably going to be kind of huge chunks, big portions at a time, when I think the spot price is optimal. So, for me to do that, I want to get as much bang for my buck as possible. So I'm not going with constitutional for that, because as you can see, I just showed you through the example, I'd be losing a lot of money per ounce that I would be losing if I stacked constitutional instead of premium. So I'm not doing that. So, okay, so that's the biggest main, number one reason. Next reason is that, these junk silver coins actually oftentimes contain less silver than advertised. So like I said, there's some kind of calculation where it's like $1.40 in face value equals 1 ounce or something like that. But a lot of these coins are heavily circulated coal or even slick coins, and they contain, less silver than when they were, first minted. So, it's not really true that like $1.40 or whatever the calculation is equals 1 ounce. So like in the previous example that I just gave about like going into the local coin shop, if you go in there with a bunch of junk silver and the local coin shop owner wanted to use a scale, which like I don't stack constitutional, so I don't know, but I've heard from people who do here on YouTube that when they go into their local coin shop with a bunch of a big bag full of constitutional, they just break out the scale basically. So if you're to do that, you might even get less than 10% back on the junk silver because it's highly worn down, and you'd be getting even less money back, than what you maybe thought when you bought it. So, when I buy 1 ounce of silver, I want 1 ounce of silver. I don't want the possibility for it to be less because it's been highly circulated and worn down over the years. So the next reason is that, reason number three is that, just like anything else, the market determines the price, and, constitutional silver is cheap. That's why a lot of people stack it, but it's cheap for a reason, and so, as I've just demonstrated with the previous two examples. So, I mean, that's number three reason. The price is cheap, but it is cheap, and I don't want to stack cheap silver. I'm doing this, working hard, and so if I'm going to invest my money into this, to keep my money safe, and have real tangible wealth and money and value, then I do not want to do it in a cheap way. I don't want to cut corners, basically, is what it is. So, all right, reason number four, a lot of people say that constitutional silver is highly recognizable, but I'm not so sure about this one. I don't know that most Americans would really know that, pre-1964, some of the pre-1964 coins contain 90% silver. The YouTube silver stacking community and like the online silver stacking community in general is kind of in a bubble. We know that it's like totally common sense to us, but do you actually think the average American really knows that? I'm not so sure about that, so, I mean, and even with the YouTube silver stacking community, even with some of the more well-known names, I'm not going to put anybody out on blast here, but some of their early videos, they're like, oh yeah, I got this constitutional silver, and it's like, a nickel or something that is totally not constitutional silver. So like, are people really fully 100% aware of what it is? I'm not so sure. And especially overseas, not non-Americans, do they recognize it? Do they know what it is? I mean, I'm an expat, so this is not really good for me. The average person would have no idea what this is, and I think that most people who are not American, and even a lot of Americans, would just look at it as exactly what it is, junk, and they wouldn't want to buy it, so if I were to sell, I would get a lot less back, and if I go to sell, maybe there's a lot of people who would not even want to buy it. So I don't want that. And for all you Americans out there, did you know that there's Canadian junk silver? Do you know which Canadian coins are junk? And I mean, which ones contain silver and which ones don't? Do you know all the details about that? It's not just as simple as like, oh, all the coins before this 1 year are just contain silver. It's not that simple, you know. So, you know, I don't agree that it's highly easily recognizable, and so that's another reason. Um, Reason number 5, I think there's some misnomers about supply, demand, rarity, exclusivity. You know, guys, uh, constitutional silver, junk silver, whatever you want to call it, it's not that rare at all. People are saying that it's becoming increasingly rare. I see a lot of videos that are talking about, you know, you should buy as much as you can right now because the supply is all drying up and everything like that. And, you know, I mean, that's not really exclusive to junk silver. That's true of all coinage everywhere. I mean, as soon as it's minted and you know, distributed out to the public for circulation, then you know, it's automatically becoming more rare by the day. That's just what it is. So you know, but people are saying that it's becoming more rare because they think that that rarity is going to equal value, but that's only true if it's highly sought after and the demand increases. But you know, I think most people are buying junk silver, like I said before, because it's cheap. And then there's a limited supply, and when supply dries up, as it is, it should become more expensive. That's what people think. But at that point, when the supply, you know, reaches some sort of tipping point, and it becomes, you know, less common, then the demand can remain the same, which would be a relative increase, because if the demand is the same as it is right now, but there's less supply, then that would mean that, you know, the demand is increased because the supply is decreased. Or the demand could decrease, or there could be an absolute increase in demand, which means the demand goes up and the supply goes down. So if demand increases relatively or absolutely, and I'm betting that the price will correct and the price will remain the same, or you know, as it is now relative to spot, or even drop below that, because most people, like I said, outside of some American enthusiasts, won't want to pay more for a bunch of heavily used coins that are not even 3 or 4 nines fine. So once the supply dries up, you know, I'm not betting that people are going to be like, oh my god, I got to get my hands on some constitutional. No, it's just going to be, okay, there's no more. People who have it. You know, I'm sure, like I said, there's going to be some enthusiasts who are willing to pay, you know, more for it, but you know, then it's like kind of getting into this weird sort of numismatic zone or something. So I'm not. It's not worth, you know, the headache to try to make that, you know, happen, and I'm not betting that that will happen. And you know, I mean, if I'm gonna put that much effort into some type of bullion, then I'm gonna go for something that's like, you know, way more collectible or something like that. So and basically, reason number 6 is that basically, guys, you know, this is a form of recovery. You know, yes, you know, and if you don't know what I mean by recovery, I'm talking about like you know, silver has a lot of industrial uses. So one way to get silver is to find things that it's used in, like let's just say LED chips or batteries, or you know, some kind of dentist, you know, implement, or some sort of alloy. And you know, they use it a lot in electronic soldering and stuff like that. So let's say you were to find something that it's used in and collect a bunch of that stuff and extract the silver. That's a form of recovery. And basically, you know, I look at people who are collecting junk silver, it's recovery. You know, yes, it's easier because there's not really a huge extraction process, which is also can be costly. But you know, you can find cheaper forms of recovering silver than just straight up buying it. So I mean, you know, today, you know, silver, like I said, it's used in a lot of industrial uses. It's invaluable for so many different industries, and these are industries like alternative energy and electronics and things like this, where it's not, the demand is increasing for silver. So you'll be able to find and recover silver from a lot of stuff like semiconductors and all these different things. you know I mean, you probably wouldn't be finding a semiconductor, but you know what I mean. Like, you can find a very good, easy source. And there's actually a great article on this over at Bullion Vault. I'll leave a link in the description, and you can check this out. But constitutional silver is basically a form of recovery as far as I see it. And if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to go for a much cheaper input for recovering the silver than just straight up buying it like that. Sometimes people will even pay you to take their trash, what they consider to be trash, off of their hands. You could go like pick up someone's computer or something because they don't want to pay to throw it away. It depends on where you're at, of course, but and then you can extract gold from that. You know what I mean? So like, you can get paid while you're doing it. And yeah, it's not quite as simple. There's an extraction process. You got to learn how to do that. But once you do it once successfully, it's not that difficult. So I don't know. I'm not into that. And I'm not trying to, get into recovery or extraction or anything like that. But I basically consider it, the easiest form of recovery that there is. So I'm not doing that. But all right, reason number 7. I feel like people are just doing this in the YouTube silver stacking community because it's trendy, and I don't follow trends. The YouTube silver stacking community is a culture, and just like any culture, it has some blind spots. And I'm including myself in this. I'm not saying I'm trying to like sound like I'm better than anyone, but sometimes the YouTube silver stacking community can be a bit of an echo chamber. Stacking silver is empowering, personally empowering, because in order to do it, in a sustainable way, long term, it demands that you do some self-reflection and evaluate yourself, evaluate your spending habits, and it dictates that you form a strategy and execute that strategy. So it feels good when you're able to do that because it allows you to kind of look at the situation you're in and kind of take control of your finances. And you can feel like you're smart because you're doing something that's constructive and positive for yourself, and it produces tangible results. And there's also a sense of community because it's literally, silver stacking community on YouTube and elsewhere online. And you might not want to question or challenge some of the narratives or habits in that community that we very commonly see, because you want confirmation and validation from that community. And even if it's not from other people telling you that you're doing a good job, but you want to think in your own head that you're doing the right thing, and because so many other people are doing it, that's you think it's the right thing to do. That's socialization, and I'm not into that. So people want to go along with that, but here's the thing: is it right for you to stack constitutional? Like I said, for me, it's not. It doesn't match with my strategy. So I think it's okay to be proud of your accomplishments and your stack and everything because you literally worked for it and earned it. But there's a difference between being proud and having pride. And I see a lot of channels, frankly, I'm not going to put anyone on blast. I'm not here to be disrespectful, but I see a lot of channels in YouTube silver stacking community who have let some of this empowerment I'm talking about here, that we get from stacking, kind of go to their head a little bit, and they have too much pride. And they think they have everything kind of all figured out, and they believe that they're experts on matters involving government and politics and economics. I hear so many comments, and I read so many comments, and I hear so many remarks and things in these videos about socialism and communism, which are factually incorrect. And I hear so many things about gold to silver ratio strategies and all this stuff that's just fundamentally flawed in a lot of ways, and a lot of times it's just factually incorrect. And I'm not going to do it simply because everybody else is doing it. So, you know, I've only seen one other video on YouTube, and I'm going to leave a link to that video. The guy kind of started a channel and then stopped making videos, but you know, I'm going to leave a link to his video in the description. And man, he got attacked. Maybe that's part of the reason why he stopped making videos. I'm not going to stop making videos. I'm just sharing my thoughts. If y'all are going to attack me, I'm not going to really pay that much attention to you. If you have a respectful comment, or you want to make a point that maybe you think I'm missing or something, great. That's what I want. That's why I'm making this video, so that we can start a conversation. But if you're going to just attack me, I don't care. So anyways, basically it's a trend and I'm not following trends. All right, reason number 8 is highly counterfeit. I'm going to leave another link in the video in the description to Spectacular, one of his videos. I really like his video series where he talks to the guy, Mr. Guy at the local coin shop. And in one of those interviews with the LCS owner, he brings in some coins just to kind of have them appraised. And like before it even hits the counter, the LCS owner grabs one of them and is like, yeah, this is counterfeit, you know. So, you know, I don't have a $500, you know, $1,000 precious metal verifier that you see in those shops. Do you? You know, I know there's some other tests that we can do, you know, magnetic tests and you know, gravity tests and stuff like that. But there's other chemical tests. But you're gonna do that with every single coin? You know, I'm not gonna put myself through that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and go with trusted sources of bullion. So just skip over the counterfeit constitutional stuff. Number 9, it takes up even more space than 3 or 4 nines fine silver, because it's only 90%, and you have to probably, you know, store it in like a tube or a big bag or something. And you know, no matter how you store your silver, space is a constraint factor, even if you store it at the bank or buried in the ground or whatever. So for some of you, you know, depending on where you know, what kind of environment you live in, space is going to be more of an issue than others. But either way, you got to find more storage solutions for, you know, this 90% silver. So I'm not interested in having to arrange all of that and have it be an issue. You know, I'd rather go the opposite route and get some gold. So, you know, again, you might say like, oh, that's not really a big reason or whatever. But again, with silver, you have to stack a lot of it. So, you know, however many, you know, centimeters or inches, you know, you have to extra you have to use, because you're stacking 90% and not 3 nines fine or 4 nines fine silver. When you're stacking a lot of it, you know, that's multiplied by a lot. So it is an issue. And the last reason is I just don't like it. You know, I don't think it looks good. I have a few constitutional coins that I was given as a kid, or like that I found in spare change and stuff. And yeah, I keep it, but I'm not stacking it. You know what I mean? I just throw it in like this piggy bank, and it's just there. And I kind of have it more for like sentimental or collector value, because like I said, a lot of it was just given to me. But if I'm gonna collect coins, I'm gonna just go with individual pieces. I'm not gonna do it to amass some, you know, huge amount of silver troy ounces. So anyways, guys, that's my 10 reasons why I don't stack constitutional silver. And you know, I want to hear what you guys think after this. Am I wrong about this? Am I missing something? Did I say something that's factually incorrect? Did I change any of your minds? Did I provoke you to think more about it? Just share your thoughts, guys. All right, I really appreciate you watching the video. Thanks a lot. And this is the Expat Stacker, and I'll catch you on the flip side.